Welcome to all the devotees for our weekly Bhakti Vaibhav class. So in the last week we were discussing from chapter 15, wherein being inquired by King Yudhishthir Maharaj, Arjuna began to reveal what had happened in the Dwarka and eventually in Pravas, etc. So he's talking about, he told that Lord Krishna already departed. He left behind us and he had taken my powers also. By whose mercy we have been becoming victorious in all our attempts and we have been saved in all dangers, etc. Arjuna kind of recounting what all happened in their life, starting from the very beginning all the way till now. So he mentioned about various incidents that happened in terms of Draupadi Swayamvar, winning the battle with all the opposing kings, then eventually performing Rajasuya sacrifice, conducting defeating Indra and Devatas for helping in Agnidev to eat up the Kandavavan, and then Kurukshetra battle, Arjuna pleasing Lord Shiva, Arjuna going to heaven, killing Nivatakauchasas, helping Devatas. So many things. He had mentioned all those things. Having mentioned all those things, now in a couple of verses, he is going to talk about Lord Krishna's reciprocation with Arjuna. How Lord reciprocated with Arjuna in sweet dealings. 18th and 19th talks about that. Narmani udara ruchira smita shobitani he partaye Arjuna sake kuru nandaniti sanjalpitani naradeva hrude sprushanti smartur lutanti hridayam mama madhavasya. Read the translation, Sami.
O king, his joking and frank talks were pleasing and beautifully decorated with smiles. His addresses unto me as O son of Pritha, O friend, O son of Kuru dynasty, and all such heartiness are now remembered by me, and thus I am overwhelmed.
So here in this verse, Arjuna is remembering the sweet dealings of Lord Krishna with Arjuna. O king, on remembering Madhava's joking words, which were splendid with smiles, splendid with charm, and splendid with eloquence, our conversations, which touched the heart, while he addressed me as O Partha, O Arjuna, O friend, O joy of the Kurus, Kurunandaneti, my heart becomes agitated. By remembering all those words with which Lord Krishna used to address me, calling me as O Partha, O Arjuna, naito Hey Partha, Hey Arjuna, Hey Saka, or Hey Kurunandana. So my heart is agitated. Remembering those wonderful and very affectionate dealings of Lord Krishna with me, my heart is getting agitated. The words touched Arjuna's heart because of their sweet syllables. Lord Krishna would use very sweet syllables while addressing Arjuna, etc. So then Arjuna continues few more dealings with Lord Krishna. Sayyasanaatana vikattana bhojanadishu ऐक्याद्वयस्य ऋतवान् इति विप्रलब्धा सख्यु सखेव पितृवत् तनयस्य सर्वं सेहे महान्मनियता मनितया कुमतेरगम्ये.
Generally, both of us used to live together and sleep, sit, and loiter together. And at the time of advertising oneself for acts of chivalry, sometimes if there were any irregularity, I used to reproach him by saying, "My friend, you are very truthful." Even in those hours when his value was minimized, he, being the supreme law, supreme soul, used to tolerate all those utterings of mine, excusing me exactly as a true friend excuses his true friend, or a father excuses his son.
Yeah. Here Arjuna further mentions that because of our intimacy in sleeping, where it is said in Mahabharata that whenever Krishna visits Indraprastha before Raju sacrifice. And after Mahabharat battle, whether it is Hastinapur, Krishna used to stay along with Arjuna in Arjuna's palace. Of course, 5 Pandavas would have their different palaces in that sense. So Krishna used to be with Arjuna always. They are like twins. They are never separated. So they would sleep together in the same bed. They would sit together while honoring their meals. We cannot say prasadam, but whatever it is, their meals. So then while walking, whenever they want to go out, they would go together wherever they want to go. Especially Mahabharata says that wherever they would go, both would go in the same chariot. Krishna and Arjuna would sit in the same chariot. If five Pandavas would go, all the 5 Pandavas would have five separate chariots, everyone there separately. But whenever Krishna would go along with them, he would always go along with Arjuna in the same chariot. He would never go a separate chariot. So like that. While walking, also walking together, while going anywhere together, and while boasting and while eating, they would always stay together. They would always perform all the activities together. And in those times, while sleeping, sitting, walking, boasting, and eating, etc., etc., I would scold him saying that, "Oh friend, you are very truthful." And Krishna would say something. So Arjuna would say that, "My dear friend, you are very truthful." Because many times, so whatever Krishna would say, they are all in indirect speech. Many times they may not be in direct speech. So direct meaning may not be directly. If you hear something, one may not understand it. So Arjuna would say that, okay, you are very truthful. Something like that. So being exalted by his greatness, he tolerated the offenses of me, who is a fool, just as a father tolerates a son, or a friend tolerates a friend. Even Bhagavad Gita 11th chapter also, Arjuna says same thing after seeing the entire universal form. He says, "Please forgive me. I do not understand you are this universal form, and I made so many offenses. I this, so many Arjuna kind of recounts." Here the same verse almost. There Arjuna says, "I dare to sit with you. I dare to sleep with you. I dare to the same bed. I dare to travel with you. I used to address you as Krishna, Saka, like that. So please forgive me." Like that he was saying that. Because of our mutual dependence, our oneness, I would scold him with sarcastic words such as, "Oh friend, you are truthful." So something like that. Because Krishna would never mind, because since Arjuna is saying, so he would always take it light and he make one more joke, something like that. So these were the dealings between Krishna and Arjuna. And Arjuna is begging forgiveness now. Out of foolishness, I have engaged him as a chariot driver in the previous episode. And now he's saying that out of foolishness, I used to address him as, "Oh friend, oh this, that," but he never felt any, he never treated me in another way like that. Krishna was very happy with all of those dealings. But now Arjuna is saying that now I am missing all those things. That Supreme Lord came to my level and dealt with me like a very close friend. He never took any offense, even though when I spoke little indifferently, but he's left me now behind. And this is one of the important verse. Last week I wanted to discuss on this verse little elaborately, and then we could not do it. We'll do it today. Soham Rupendra Raita Purushottamena Sakya Priyena Suhruda Rudayena Shunya Advanurukrama Parigraha Mangarakshan Gopera Sadbira Baleva Vinirjitosmi.
O Emperor, now I am separated from my friend and dearmost well-wisher, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and therefore my heart appears to be void of everything. In his absence, I have been defeated by a number of infidel cowhead men while I was guarding the bodies of all the wives of Krishna.
So Arjuna is saying that, "Oh best of the kings, O Yudhishthir, without the Lord, who is my dear friend, without my companion, my mind being vacant like a weakling, I was defeated by the criminal cowherds while protecting his queens on the road." So when all the Yadavas who were in Dwaraka, Lord Krishna, in order to remove them from the surface of the earth, he himself created illumines all over Dwaraka, and then called all the Yadavas and told them that okay, something bad is happening around us. Let us go to Prabhas and worship Lord Shiva so that things will become normal. And having gone to Prabhas, they all killed each other. Then Arjuna came and make sure that all the final rites are performed. When the news came to Dwaraka, Lord Krishna told in Dwaraka, I mean, where in Prabhas, after the killing of all the people, when Krishna was alone, everyone left. That time Daruka comes, the chariot driver of Krishna, and Krishna sends his chariot to spiritual world and tells Daruka, you please go and send the message what will happen here in the Dwarka and tell them vacate Dwarka immediately. They cannot stay in Dwarka because in 7 days Dwarka will be submerged into the water, ocean water. So Daruka goes and informs everything. As soon as the Dwaraka elderly people heard, they all collapsed. As soon as they heard that Krishna left, Balramji left, all the Yadavas left, they could not bear it. They all fell down dead. Vasudeva, Devaki, and all the elderly members, Ugrasen, everyone died except few. And all the ladies, remaining all went to Prabhas. All the final rites performed, all the ladies entered into Sati. Lord Balarama's wives entered Sati, Lord Krishna's 8 principal queens entered Sati. All died, few men, and the 16,100 queens of Lord Krishna were remaining. And Arjuna was escorting them to Hastinapur so that they can be taken care nicely. On the way, this thing happened. I was defeated by the infidel criminal cowherds while protecting Lord Krishna's queens on the way to Hastinapur. What you guessed, my dear king, my defeat. That Yudhishthira asked, did you were defeated by people who are less stature than you, some are equal stature with you, something like that. That also occurred. Without my friend, my mind became vacant. Hrudayena Shumya. I was almost fainting. Actually, okay, I was almost fainting. So some infidel cohorts came, defeated me, and took away those queens of Lord Krishna. Okay, one thing is Arjuna got defeated. That is okay, manageable. But Lord Krishna's queens were taken away. So he is the emperor of the entire kingdom. He is the responsible to protect everyone. Now he could not protect. That too, not someone in general people. Krishna's queens. So he is feeling very bad for that. So now Acharya is taking reference of various scriptures. They are explaining the entire pastime. What is this pastime all about? Why it is happening like this, etc., etc. So they Acharya say that actually the cowherds were not low criminals. Gopa, it is mentioned na Gope Rasadbir Abaleva Vinrijitosmi. So Gope Rasadbis, that means criminal cowherds. Gopa means those who protected the earth and heaven. Gopa. Pa means palan karne wala. Go means Bhuloka and Sargaloka, everything. These persons took the queens away. All the Gopas who came and defeated Arjuna, they are nothing but the one who protects all the 3 planetary systems. That is Supreme Lord Vishnu. He came as Gopas and defeated Arjuna, took away like that. The Lord took the form of these cowherd men and defeated Arjuna and took away his dear queens so that they could eventually enter into the unmanifest pastimes of Lord Krishna. Because Lord Krishna departed from this manifest world of this world, manifest. So he entered into unmanifest pastimes. So these queens are supposed to enter into that pastime. So for that, Lord Krishna is orchestrating the entire pastime. So later in the 10th canto, why Lord Krishna wanted to take these queens into unmanifest pastimes? Because that was the desire of the queens. That was mentioned in the 10th canto. So sometime before the performance of Rajyashri sacrifice, there was a solar eclipse. That time Lord Krishna, of course Vasudeva and Devaki, they wanted to go to Kurukshetra, perform a yajna, so that people can be benefited by the performance of yajna. They also invited all their relatives, in which Pandavas, Kauravas, everyone came. So there, Lord Krishna's queens, 16,108 queens, they met Draupadi. They are like speaking to each other, sitting in one particular chamber, etc. etc. So they're all talking about. Draupadi asks, okay, Draupadi had met some of the queens now and then, but not all of them together. So this is the first time she might be meeting all the queens together after their marriages. So Draupadi is asking all the queens of Lord Krishna, how are you all married to Krishna? Because Draupadi Swayamvar was very well known, very famous. Some of the queens of Lord Krishna also had Swayamvar, but not all. So Draupadi wanted to hear more details about those Swayamvar and how Krishna became victorious in those Swayamvaras and married them. So one after the other, all the queens explained, all the 8 principal queens explained about how the marriage took place with Krishna. Rukmini speaks, Satyabhama, Jambavati, the Shamantakmani episode is all spoken, Satya, Kalindi, Nirmajiti, and I'm not getting other names, but like that, all the queens, 8 queens, they narrate. And then on behalf of 16,100 queens, one speaks. She speaks 3 verses. And those 3 verses are, of course, she speaks about how the marriage took place, how Lord Krishna came and killed Narakasura and then married them. But after that, what is the desire they are cherishing in the core of their heart? That is mentioned in these 3 verses. So the reason for these 3 verses is, after Krishna rescued them from the clutches of Narakasura, marrying them in Dwaraka, so they used to hear from Uddhava always. They wanted to hear about Krishna. So whom they can ask? Uddhava is the best person. Uddhava is the constant lesson of Krishna, and he can. So Uddhava was speaking all the pastimes of Madura. Now then they said that we want to hear pastimes of Lord Krishna in Dwaraka, Vrindavan. You have been to Vrindavan, you have stayed there for 2 months. Please speak about all of them, pastimes. So Uddhava would narrate pastimes of Lord Krishna which he performed in Vrindavan regularly. Whenever time permits, all the queens would sit next to him and they would all hear from him. Because Uddhava stayed there for 2 months. In those 2 months, all the gopis narrated what all the pastimes Lord Krishna performed all over Vrindavan. He knew everything, every pastime in detail. So they have heard from Uddhava continuously about Lord Krishna's various pastimes. And as a result of hearing those pastimes from Uddhava continuously is these 3 verses. And they say that Navayam Sadhi Samrajyam Swarajyam Baudyam Apiuta Vairajyam Parameshtyam Cha Anantyam Va Hare Padam. They say that, oh saintly lady, they are addressing to Draupadi, the queens. One of the queen, the leader of all the 1600 was, I think, Rohini or somewhere her name, Rohini, I think. She is speaking these verses. Oh saintly lady, we do not desire dominion over earth. We don't want to be the rulers of this Bhumandala. And we don't want the sovereignty of King of Heaven. We don't want to become the rulers of heaven. We don't want unlimited facility of enjoyment. And we don't want mystic powers. We don't want the position of Lord Brahma. And we don't want immortality. We don't even want entry into Vaikuntha. They do not want any of these things. Then what they want? Kamayamaha etasya Srimatpadarajasriya Kuchakunkuma Gandayam Murdna Odum Gadabruta. We simply desire to carry on our heads the glorious dust of Lord Krishna's feet, enriched by the fragrance of the kunkuma from the consort's bosom. They say that we just want the dust from the lotus feet of Lord Krishna on our heads. We don't want anything else. We don't want any position either in the earth or in the heaven or in the Brahmaloka or this, there. We don't want even entry into Vaikuntha also. We just want the dust of Lord Krishna's lotus feet on our head. Why you want dust of Lord Krishna's lotus feet? Then they say, Vrajasriyo yad vanchanti Pulindastruna Viruda Gavascharayato Gopa Padasparsham Mahatmana. Because Vrajastriya yad vanchanti, the ladies of Vraja want this. They don't want anything more than that. All the gopis only want dust of Lord Krishna's lotus feet on their head. So following in their footsteps, we want the same thing. We desire the same contact with the Supreme Lord's feet that the young women of Vraja the cowherd boys, and even the aborigine Pulinda woman desire. The touch of the dust he leaves on the plants and grass as he tends his cows. So it's like that. Even Uddhava also wanted the same thing. He wanted to become a Gulmalata in Vrindavan so that the gopis would walk and he would get the dust of the gopis. So like that. Lord Brahma wanted to become a mountain. Lord Shiva also wanted to become a mountain, something like that, so that they will get the dust of Lord Krishna's lotus feet and gopis' lotus feet. That was the desire. And the queens following the footsteps of the gopis of Raja, they're saying that we don't want anything else. We just want dust from the lotus feet of Lord Krishna's, which is left behind on the grasses of Vrindavan. That is only our desire. This they express in front of everyone to Draupadi. That is the mood of their, the mood of the queens. From these verses, it is understood that the queens desired the form of the Lord that the gopis hankered for. In the same Kurukshetra, when Srimati Radharani and all the other gopis met Krishna, some other place in the late night, and the gopis said, "Who are you? We don't know this person. Who is he? The person whom we know is he plainly dresses, and he wears all the natural minerals like jewelry and garlands, etc., etc. And he wears a peacock feather. He holds a stick which tends the cows, etc., etc. We don't know this kingly attire. Who is this kingly personality?" So then Krishna says, "No, I am the same Krishna." They say, "No, no, you are not the same Krishna." So where is those days? Where is the monsoon days of Chaitra Mas? Where is the Yamuna, the bank of Yamuna? Where is that Vrindavan forest? So we don't want to speak to you in this attire here in Kurukshetra. This Kurukshetra place is all filled with all the grandeur because kings have come. So everything is very opulent. We want you to come to Vraja. That is where we can recognize who really you are. That is where we can really express our heart to you. That is where we can really dance with you, something like that. Then he says, "No, now I am a king. In the sense, now I am here with you. Why you are remembering all these things? I am here with you." They say, "No way. Let us go to Vrindavan." So when Krishna heard from them like this, Krishna went into madness, went into ecstasy. So in that state of Krishna, the gopis were taking Krishna to Vrindavan so that they can perform their regular pastimes with Krishna. That is the significance of Ratha Yatra. So Kurukshetra is like Dwaraka. The gopis taking Lord Krishna from Dwaraka to Vrindavan. So that was in that way. Otherwise, if the queens who were directly Lakshmi, enjoyed by the Lord, were touched by low material persons, they would have immediately disappeared. If all the queens who are none other than expansions of different Lakshmis, different expansions of Srimati Radharani's, different gopis, how can they be touched by ordinary mortals? They will be disappeared. They will not be. So it is Lord Krishna himself appeared as gopis and then gopas and then defeated Arjuna and took them away. So it's like that. These are all different proofs for them to convince that Krishna only appeared like that. And there is a backstory for this, why it happened like that. It is understood that they attained forms as women of Raja in another manifested pastime. This can be understood from the Vishnu and Brahma Puranas. Vishnu Purana and Brahma Purana. Vyasadeva also spoke to Arjuna about this. So Vyasa says that because of the curse of the sage Ashtavakra, the best of women becoming the wives of Krishna would be touched by the thieves. So Vyasa is speaking when Arjuna becomes morose after this entire episode happened, then Vyasa comes and classifies Arjuna saying that don't worry, this is all Lord's plan only. The Gopas are not some ordinary boys, they are actually the Supreme Lord. Why it happened? Because of a curse of Ashtavakra. Evam tasya mune shapad Ashtavakrasya keshavam Bhartaram prapyata yata dasyu hasta varangana. What was that past time? Long ago, once Ashtavakra Muni visited heaven. In the heaven, there were many heavenly women. They praised Ashtavakra. So they served him actually. All the heavenly ladies, they served Ashtavakra very nicely, very humbly, very genuinely. Ashtavakra Muni became very much happy with them. And he blessed them by saying that, may Lord Vishnu will become your husband. So Ashtavakra Muni, being pleased with their service, blessed him, blessed all the heavenly ladies. All of you will become the queens of Lord Vishnu or Lord Krishna in that sense. Vishnu in that sense. So then, but later on, couple of days later, when Ashtavakra Muni was walking, Ashtavakra has the 8 bendings in his body. He cannot stand straight. He cannot walk properly. His body goes like this, like this. The ladies did not know that he is Ashtavakra Muni. So they are somewhere in the palace on the rooftop when they observed a different peculiar person walking in a peculiar way. From the backside they saw and they kind of giggled or laughed. So Ashtavakra Muni, hearing those laughing, he became very angry. Because they laughed at him and seeing his crooked body, he cursed them. You will be taken away by the thieves. So he turned around and cursed them immediately. Then they realized it is Ashtavakra Muni. Then they came down from the palace, they fell flat at the feet of Ashtavakra Muni, they begged forgiveness. Please forgive us, we did not know, we just casually laughed, not to insult you, not to do anything. We were just laughing ourselves at our place only. We did not laugh loudly also, so that you can hear or anybody else can hear. So we don't have any ill intention to criticize you or make fun of you. It is just being young ladies as a casual remark, we just laughed. So Ashtavakra Muni understood everything. So again being merciful, he said that after the curse had ended, after you will be taken away by the thieves, all of you would again attain the Lord who would take the form of the thieves. So all of you will again attain the Supreme Lord. So it is the same Lord who became their husband, who became the thief and stole them, and they will also attain him afterwards. Not being able to avoid the curse and blessing, they experienced being taken by the thieves and attaining the Lord because of this, since Lord Krishna took form of the thieves. Then Vyasadeva again tells Arjuna in order to pacify him, O Pandava, do not lament at all. All of the queens have been brought close to him in a direct way by the perfect husband, Lord Krishna, by making you as an instrument. This is all Lord's plan. For more details, if you want to know this pastime, please read the book. The first chapter is all about this pastime only. Appearance of Bhagavatam. Book diya tha na? Bhagavad Vichar. The whole chapter is explaining this entire pastime. So you can read what exactly happened, how it happened, what happened afterwards, how Bhagavatam manifested through this entire pastime. Okay. Hare Krishna, devotees online able to follow this pastime? Any questions?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Other devotees?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Louder.
Prabhuji.
1 second here. One
Hare
Prabhuji is
Krishna.
asking question. 1 second. 1 second. Yeah.
Gopis were already Lakshmis. They were in Aishwarya Bhav. So that this time of got changed when they became.
Gopis are all Lakshmis. These are queens, not gopis. These are queens.
Lakshmis. So they were in Aishwarya Bhav.
Ah.
When they became gopis, so their time of changed.
No, they were a manifestation of Lakshmi. Yes, that is fine. But they were hearing from Uddhava about the gopis. When you hear about someone again and again, obviously you will develop a desire to be like that. Will you not?
What about the style of it?
It's okay, na? It can change. What is the problem?
It change style.
Ah, obviously, it can change.
It's eternal.
Even Mother Lakshmi also wanted to enter into Praja pastimes. But only then she wanted to remain as Lakshmi. That's why she was not given entry. Even Nardamuni became Gopi. What to speak of that? Lord Shiva became Gopi. It's a desire.
What is the difference between pulling the girls and the gopis? Both are the same.
And no. Gopis are all Raja Gopis, about whom we are in 10th canto. Pulling the girls, they are said that the ladies who stay in the outskirts, there is a town or there is a village. Outskirts of village also there are some kind of people also stay. Na? So the girls from that community, they are called Pulinda community. Pulinda is a kind of community who generally don't live in the cities. They live in the farms. That kind of community.
Bhakti Rasamrita Sangha we studied the style of Vedan.
They are expansions of Lakshmi. They are not like the regular Lakshmi. It's okay because that is what they desire. If you hear about Ras Panchadhyay, the whole people participate in the Ras Panchadhyay, Ras Leela, all the gopis are different gopis. All the sages in Dandakaranya who met Lord Ram, they became so much attracted to the beautiful form of Lord Ram. They wanted to become the wives of Lord Ram. The sages normally they are not in the conjugal rasa. They are in Tattva. But when they saw Lord Ram, they wanted to become the wives of Lord Ram and want to serve Lord Ram. But Lord Ram says, no, in this life I have only one wife. I cannot accept. They all became gopis. They are called Munichari gopis. All the Vedas personified, they also wanted to serve the Lord in conjugal rasa. They all became gopis. They are called Shruchari gopis. And these gopis, these are all apsaras in the heavenly abodes who are expansions of Mother Lakshmi. So they also had a desire to serve the Lord in conjugal rasa. So that desire manifested through Ashtavakra Muni's blessings. So they became the wives of Lord Krishna. But by hearing from Uddhava about the gopis, they developed a desire to serve the Lord like the gopis serving the Lord. So no problem. Now what is the problem? It can change. Devotees always ask a question whether the devotees can go from Vaikuntha to Golok Vrindavan. If they want, they can go. Why would Lord stops? If the devotees want to go there, and Lord will allow them, why would he stop? It may not happen always, but there can be some exceptions. Okay, no? There can be some exceptions. So in that way you can say. Yeah. Yes, Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. I heard in lecture that why Krishna abandoned means evacuated all the Yadu dynasty. Because as you said, all the Rishi Munis and so many people, they are born as the Yadus, no, to serve Krishna. Then if they continue, then they will have the false ego that we are Krishna Parampara like that. That is one reason. And another, they have to go back to their original places as demigods. They have left their position and they have come to this to serve Krishna, no? So
Okay.
because of that reason,
Yes, thank you.
Krishna is abolishing the entire Yadu dynasty. Is it so?
We will discuss. Couple of verses
Acha.
later it will come.
Later it comes. Okay. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Correct. So Arjuna is continuing now. Tadvai dhanustaishava sarato ayaste soham rati nrupatayo yata amananti sarvam kshenena tadabodha sadishariktam basman hutam kohakaradamivoktamusham.
I have the very same Gandiva bow, the same arrows, the same chariot drawn by the same horses, and I use them at the same Arjuna, to whom all the kings offered their due respects. But in the absence of Lord Krishna, all of them, at a moment's notice, have become null and void. It is exactly like offering clarified butter on ashes, accumulating money with the magic wand, or sowing seeds on barren land.
Yeah, this is another important verse from this chapter. Arjuna is saying that I, the same warrior, and the same bow, Tadvai Dhanush, the same arrows, Ta Ishava, the same chariot, Sarato, and the same horses, Ayaste, which made kings bow to me. Drupatayo Yata Amananti, wherever I would travel on the chariot, the kings, opponent kings would simply surrender and bow in front of me. They would never dare to fight with me. But they all became powerless in a moment without the Lord. Sarvam Kshanena Tadabud Asad Isharikam. Because the Lord is not present with me. Though I have the same chariot, same horses, same bow and same arrows, and the same me only. But still I am good for nothing. I was defeated by the infidel cowherd boys. They are as futile as sacrificing ghee into ashes. In a yajna, we offer ghee and all the food grains into fire. Idam indraya swaha, idam indraya chandraya swaha, like that. But if you offer those ghee and oblations into ash, what will happen? Will it become a yajna? No, it is useless. Offering ghee into ash, it is not of any use. Or it is as immaterial as getting an illusory gift from a magician. You go for a magic show. In the magic show, the magician will create a object and give you as a gift. Will that gift be of any use? As soon as you come out of the magic show, it will disappear. As long as you're in the magic show, you can see that. But once you come out of the magic show, it will disappear. It is only imaginative thing. So it will not be there. It is like that. And are as perishable as sowing seeds in a salty earth. When the earth is salty, if you sow any seeds, will it grow? No. So it is like that. Since Lord is not there, all the other things, the bow, arrow, ratha, and the horses, they are all useless, meaningless. So in that way. The reason for all this is the absence of Lord Krishna and nothing else. All of these things which caused kings to bow to me have lost their effect because Lord Krishna is absent. Throwing ghee into ashes shows no results. Getting articles from a magician shows their insubstantiality. Sowing seeds in salty earth shows the perishable condition. So Arjuna is saying, now my condition is like that. Though I have everything, but they are of no use. So Prabhupada writes for interesting point in this purport. As we have discussed more than once, one should not be puffed up by the borrowed plumes. So we may say that I am intelligent, I am this, I am that, I am this, I am that. These are all borrowed plumes. We should not be proud of by borrowed plumes. All energies and power are derived from the supreme source, Lord Krishna, and they act as long as he desires and ceases to function as soon as he withdraws. As long as the Lord empowers, we may be the so-called powerful or intelligent or this, that. When Lord withdraws all of this, we are no good for nothing. This example Gaurav Prabhu always quotes. What is his name? The athlete champion. He won later on he got Parkinson disease. He could not even lift that. Muhammad Ali, he was not Muhammad Ali boxer. He was like the powerful boxer all over the world. But eventually, at one point of time, he could not even start the Olympic Games by lamping the campfire. So that will be the situation. As long as empowerment is there, one can be like a powerful person. When it is withdrawn, so we can't do much. So in that way, all electrical energies are uh, received from the powerhouse. And as soon as the powerhouse stops supplying energy, the bulbs are of no use. In a moment's time, such energies can be generated or withdrawn by the supreme will of the Lord. Material civilization without the blessing of the Lord is child's play only. As long as the parents allow the child to play, it is all right. As soon as the parents withdraw, the child has to stop. I mean, the example given here is one Prabhupada always tells the story that. So the parents take the children to the beach and the bank of a river. The children want to play in the sand. In the sand, they make so many castles. They construct this, that, so many things. And the parent says, "Oh, it is getting late. Let us go home." Children say, "No, mera ghar hai idhar, mera ghar hai idhar." But the parents will say, "We'll leave them there, take them back." So like that, whatever we may be doing, everything here in this world, they are all like child's play only. When time comes, a person might endeavor, work hard, construct big homes. When time for death comes, one has to leave behind everything and one has to live without knowing where to go. So this middle world is like that. Human civilization and all activities thereof must be dovetailed with the supreme blessings of the Lord. And without this blessing, all advancement of human civilization is like decorations on dead body. It is said here that a dead civilization and its activities are something like clarified butter on ashes. So the human civilization is like pouring ghee into the ash. It is of no use. If ghee is there, either you can eat. When there is no fire, at least you can eat. Pouring ghee into the ashes is neither yajna nor consuming for self. Only if you pour the ghee into the fire, chanting Vedic mantras, it becomes yajna. Otherwise, it is not. Ghee is simply wasted in that way. The accumulation of money by a magic wand. If a magician creates money and that person gives thousands of rupees, will that money have any value? No, it's of no use. And the sowing of seeds in a barren land. In a barren land, we cannot sow the seeds, sow the plants by sowing a seed. So it's like that. The material civilization will be like that. Then, now he is going to reveal what had happened in the Prabhas. Arjuna is going to talk about what had happened in the Prabhas. Rajam Stayanu Prishtanam Suhrudam na Suhrudpure Viprashapa Vimudanam Nigantam Mushtibir Mitha Varunim Madiram Pitva Madonmatita Chetasam Ajantam Ivuranyam Chatus Panchava Cheshtita.
O king, since you have asked me about our friends and relatives in the city of Dwaraka, I will inform you that all of them were cursed by the Brahmanas, and as a result, they all became intoxicated with wine made of putrefied rice and fought among themselves with sticks, not even recognizing one another. Now, all but 4 or 5 of them are dead and gone.
Hare Krishna, request all the devotees online to read translations in turn. So everyone try to unmute and read translations.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, Prabhuji.
Yeah. So here Arjuna is telling that what had happened in Dwaraka. O king, only 4 or 5 among our friends in Dwaraka remain. Drinking rice wine, the wine made out of rice. By the curse of a Brahmana, they became bewildered, enraged in mind, and killed each other with the handfuls of reeds as if not knowing each other. This pastime is narrated very elaborately in the 3rd canto as well as in the 11th canto. It goes into complete details. So basically, the sons of Lord Krishna once played a prank with Brahmanas. So by keeping a small mace kind of thing in the belly behind the clothes, they came to the dressing Samba like a woman. They asked the sages, so my dear sage, whether this lady is going to give birth to a male or female. The sages understood these boys are unnecessarily playing pranks with us. The sages cursed. Whoever may be the birth, whoever may be born through this lady, that will be the cause of the destruction of your entire Edu dynasty. They understood this is something serious. They immediately went to Ugrasen Maharaj, informed everything. They did not inform Krishna. They informed Ugrasena only. And Ugrasena told that better make that entire club into the powder. Rub it and make it powder. They made everything into powder. There was small piece left. The powder and the piece, everything was thrown into the ocean. Because Dwaraka is in the ocean only, that was thrown into the ocean. And that powder floated on the surface of the ocean. It went all the way up to Prabhas. There on the bank of Prabhas, it grew like the bamboo canes. All the powder transformed itself into a category of plants, bamboo canes, very hard. Like bamboo also very hard, na? Very strong and very hard. Like that, it grown up. So later on, Krishna, of course, Krishna knew all these things, what's happening. Krishna himself kind of made that arrangement, orchestrated the entire pastime. He himself created so many disturbances all over Dwaraka. So then he told all the Yadavas, so let us go to Prabhas and pray for the Devatas, so the things will become normal. There they went to Prabhas, they performed yajna, they performed so many rituals for the pleasure of Devatas, for the pleasure of Pishrus. Then they fed the Brahmanas, they gave charity to the Brahmanas. At the end, there was a rice preparation, special rice preparation. They ate themselves. Then they became a little bit delirious, a little bit intoxicated. They began to criticize each other. Basically, the discussion started at a connection to Kurukshetra battle. Because everything started with Kurukshetra only. After Kurukshetra battle, Gandhari curses Krishna. Just like you did not stop the battle between two families, After 36 years, your family members also will die in front of you like this only, killing each other. All your family members. Krishna said, okay, whatever you say, I'll accept. So in the Kurukshetra battle, if you remember, on the 14th day, so many battles were happening. At one point of time, there was a huge battle between Satyaki and Bhurishrava. Bhurishrava kind of kicked in the abdomen of Satyaki and made Satyaki fall unconscious. And then he was about to slash away his neck. Then Arjuna comes from behind, shoots an arrow, cuts off the hand, right hand, with a holding a sword. He was about to cut the head of Satyaki. Arjuna cuts off the complete hand along with the sword. Bhurishrava becomes very angry. How can you fight like this from behind without announcing that you are going to fight with me? Then Arjuna said that how can you kill a unconscious person? Person is fell unconscious. You cannot fight with him. When he gets up, then you can fight. That is the rule of the conduct. You are not following the rule. Why should I not stop? I should stop from doing wrong. Then Bhurishrava realizes he sat on the meditation pose. He began to perform meditation. Raising his prana all the way up to Adhisthana Chakra, he kind of coming out of the body. In the meantime, Satyaki regained his consciousness. Satyaki had made a pledge. If anybody kicks on my abdomen, I'll kill him. I'll cut off the neck of that person. Satyaki got up and cut off the neck of Bhurishrava. So nearby, there was this person. Who was the leader of Narayana Sena? Who are the three people survived from the Kaurava party? Kritavarma. Kritavarma was there. He is also one of the Yadavas. Now Kritavarma started talking, criticizing Satyaki. You Satyaki, after drinking the wine, you remember in the Kurukshetra battle, for no reason you cut off the head of Bhurishrava. And Satyaki said that is my promise. Bhurishrava said, not Bhurishrava. Kritavarma said, what kind of promise is that? Promise it may be a promise, but that person was sitting in yoga posture, you cannot kill him. If he is fighting with you, you can kill him. If that is the promise. My promise is that whoever he may be in whatever condition, I will kill him. That was my promise, I killed him. So like that, there is a taka war between Satyaki and Kritavarma. Some people joined Satyaki's party, some people joined Kritavarma's party. It went to the extent that they both could not tolerate each other. Then they saw the ocean bank, they saw the huge canes, because they went for Yajna, they did not have weapons with them. They kind of plucked all the canes of bamboo. They started eating each other. They killed each other like that, one after the other. Even Krishna and Balaram were coming in between to stop them. They started eating Krishna Balaram also. And Krishna and Balaram, in order to stop them, started eating them like that, one another. They killed each other. Except two people, everyone killed each other. Balaram and Krishna. Then understanding what had happened, Balaram is sitting on yoga posture, he also disappeared. So Krishna went to under the banner tree. He was waiting for the midnight to come. This all happened in the evening, during sunset, just before sunset. So before midnight, Lord Krishna on the way he met Daruka came and told him to go to Dwaraka and inform everything what had happened here. Then Uddhava came, Maitreya came. Lord Krishna spoke to Uddhava and told him to go to Badrikashram. Then Jara, a hunter, who was he caught the fish. That fish, when they cut the fish, that iron piece which was thrown into the ocean, it was eaten by that fish. When he cut the fish into two pieces, from the abdomen of the fish, he got that iron piece. He kind of made it nicely and put it on the tip of the arrow. That arrow, he thought that there is a deer. When Lord Krishna sat in the yoga asana, so keeping the one leg on the thigh, the other leg, the thumb appears to be like the mouth, all the 5 feet appear to be like the mouth of the deer. So this fellow thought that, okay, it's a deer. He shoot an arrow with the small tip of the iron firing, same thing. That slightly hit on the thumb of Lord Krishna. Then he came and realized that it is Krishna and begged forgiveness, prayed to Lord Krishna. Then Krishna liberated him, sent him to spiritual world in the self-same body. Then Brahma came along with all the Devatas, they offered prayers. Thank you very much for appearing here, performing all the pastimes, reducing the burden of the earth, killing all the asuras, delivering the immortals, etc. Now, if you wish, you can wind up your pastimes. The Devatas, while Devatas are watching, in the late night, around 2 a.m. early in the morning, Lord Krishna disappeared from this world. Like that, all that past times happened.
He left his body, material body, just to
Start Kali Yuga. Start Kali Yuga. That is to start Kali Yuga. Among the friends who, having drunk wine, became enraged and killed each other with handfuls of Eraka raids, only 4 or 5 men remain. Like, what is his name? Great grandson of our Lord Krishna. Vajranath. And few more were only surviving. Some ladies. Otherwise, remaining all men, ladies, elderly people, everyone left. These are all happened here in Dwarka.
Prabhuji, who is coming like Zara? This Marich?
Who is that?
Zara.
I don't know.
Acha,
Some
acha.
say it is Bhrigu Muni came in the form of
Ah.
Jara just to atone for his offense of kicking on the chest of Lord Vishnu.
Acha. Bhrigu Muni, correct.
Not really.
Then again he killed. What is atonement?
Huh?
Jara, what is the atonement in?
No, he went back to spiritual world. Why atonement? He begged forgiveness. That's all. He did not kill the Lord. He shoot the arrow, thinking that Lord's feet is like a deer.
what you become and
Lord Ram came and told you.
Lord Ram killed Vali.
It is there in Ramayan like that. Hard only ना. You not read. पढ़ो पहले बाद में बताओ. वार रामायण में क्या पता है? Even I also don't know who is the unknown. These are different stories. Different people will speak. But Madhvacharya says that it was Bhrigu Muni who was feeling very much sad that in order to test the 3 deities Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva, he had to kick on the chest of Lord Vishnu. Since then he was feeling very bad. In order to attain that, one of his Amsha appeared as Jara. And Lord Krishna said that no, I never took any offense of your activity. It is done with a good intention. So don't worry. That Amsha of Bhrigu who appeared as Jara is liberated. So he might also have an Amsha of Vali also. It can be. It's okay. It can be there. All the past tense can be reconciled. Achintya Veda Tattva.
So there were no rules for them, like mentioned they while cutting fish, they obtain the piece of iron like that. So
Yes.
there were no rules for them, like we follow
What rules?
eating like that.
Jara is a hunter ना. इनका family profession only hunting. हंटिंग के लिए क्या रूल्स रहेगा? हंटिंग के लिए एक ही रूल है, हंट करो, कुछ खा लो, कुछ बेचो. इट्स लाइक दैट.
They were the yogis, like entering into the pastime of God.
In one sense, he is Bhrigu Muni only. Acharya says that is expansion of Bhrigu Muni in that sense. But being born in that family, they kind of following that custom. In that sense. प्रायेणैतद् भगवता ईश्वरस्य विचेष्टितं मितो निघ्नन्ति भूतानि भावयन्ति च यन्मिथा.
Actually, it's all due to the supreme will of God. The personality of God. Sometimes people kill one another, and at other times they protect one another.
So now Arjuna is talking about some reasons why it happened like that. According to common vision only, the destruction of the Yadus occurred by the will of the Lord, because actually living beings themselves caused their own survival and their destruction. So Arjuna is saying that some say that it is by the will of the Lord it happened like that. But according to my understanding is that one living entity is the cause of death of other living entity. Either birth or death of another living entity is another living entity. Why Yudhishthira is asking, why did some remain? The destruction of the Yadu family was the will of the Lord, according to some people. But this is not the real truth. Because among themselves, living beings are the cause of destroying and protecting each other. The parents protect the children. The children protect the parents. Friends protect the friends. Relatives protect the relatives. But enemies kill each other. So one is living entity is the cause for other living entities protection, sometimes, or destruction, other times. So like that. Jalakasam jalayadvan mahanto adani aniyasa durbalan balino rajan mahanto balino mita. Evam balistair yadubir mahadbir vibu yadun yadubir anyonyam bhubaran sanjaharaha.
O king, as in the ocean, the bigger and stronger aquatics swallow up the smaller and weaker ones, so also the Supreme Personality of Godhead, to lighten the burden of the earth, has engaged the stronger Yadu to kill the weaker and the bigger Yadu to kill the smaller.
So in the previous purport, Prabhupada writes one point that discretion is the better part of valor. One should discriminate what is good for one's spiritual life and what is not good for one's spiritual life. So all our activities should be aiming at the pleasure of Lord Krishna. So taking the clue of the Yadus, Prabhupada is writing like that. We should be careful. So Arjuna is going ahead with the reason why it happened like that. Why one living in the cause of other living in death. Among the aquatics, the big aquatics eat the small aquatics and the weak aquatics. And also those who are equal in strength and size can eat each other. So like that. Among the fish, the big eat the small fish. The strong can eat equally strong fish. So like that. Who are powerful, they can only fight with each other, kill each other. Like that. And then Lord Arjuna says, the Lord in this way destroyed the Yadus, who became a burden on the earth, with strong Yadus killing other great Yadus. Because all the Yadus are very strong and very powerful. Who can kill them? There will be no one who can kill them. So Lord made Yadus only kill themselves. Because Yadus cannot be defeated by anyone from outside. Yadus cannot be killed by anyone from outside. Only they are only equally powerful with each other. So they can only kill each other. So by orchestrating this entire event, Lord Krishna made the removal of the Yadus. It is said there that the Lord destroyed the Yadus, who became a burden on the earth. This perception was created by the Lord for Arjuna and others. The cause is explained later. So, Bhagavatam 11th canto goes into more details. For the people of this world, such as Vyasadeva, Arjuna, and all the great sages, the scene is happening like this, as we described till now. Everything is happening the way we discussed. But actually, what happened is mentioned in the 11th canto. Arjuna here says that the Yadus became a burden on the earth, but actually they were the ornament for the earth. Yadus are not the burden of the earth. Lord Krishna came down to remove the burden of the earth. So Lord Krishna is also removing Yadus because they are also burden. So not like that. That is because the Yadus were eternal associates of the Lord. Just as a woman does not feel that her ornaments are a weight, so the earth did not feel the weight of the Yadus. If a Mataji given more and more jewelry, will she ever feel that lot of weight? No. She will be more happy to wear more and more jewelry. Like that, Mother Earth also will not become overburdened by more and more number of Lord's devotees. She will be more happy. So Yadus are such devotees. Even the Devatas who had appeared in the Yadu family cannot be said to be burdened, since they also were without Rajas and Tamas, all the Devatas in the mode of goodness. Therefore, the destruction was a means of having the Devatas and the eternal associates return to their appropriate destination. For the people of the material world, for external perception, the war happened. But actually, since the most of the Yadus are Lord's associates, and some of the Yadus are Devatas who descended down to be part of Lord's pastimes, so now Lord has to wind up the pastimes. Lord has to send them back. So the Lord, this pastime only orchestrated by Lord to remove them. Lord himself makes reference to the burden. The burden of the earth caused by the 18 Akshahunis formed by Drona, Bhishma, Arjuna and Bhishma has only been slightly reduced. The intolerable strength of the Yadus remain because of my portions such as Pradyumna. Pradyumna, Aniruddha, Samba, like that, all these are very, very powerful warriors. They cannot be defeated by or killed by any other warriors in this world. So Lord Krishna orchestrated this event externally so that they can, apparently they can kill each other and then leave. But actually it is not like that. After performing the sacrifice, after drinking that asavam, the payasam made out of rice, Lord Krishna told them that, okay, may all of you depart to your respective place. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for being part of the fast time. Thank you for living along with me all these years. Please go back and resume your activities. Because Devatas came down, they need to continue their services also. They all disappeared. But for the mundane vision, in order to start Kali Yuga, because while Yudhishthira Maharaj was ruling, though 35 years after Kurukshetra battle, entire atmosphere was like that of Satya Yuga. Now Satya Yuga to Kali Yuga suddenly should start. Sudden jump should take place. So Lord had to create something extraordinary so that immediately people can start thinking like the Kali Yuga people. So Lord orchestrated this pastime that Yadus killed among themselves. Now people of Kali Yuga, they say that when they hear, they say that what kind of devotees are they? And what kind of Lord is he? He himself is killing his own devotees by hitting them with the bamboo canes. So what kind of Lord is he? Is he Lord? Are they devotees? बस हो गया उनका धर्म नष्ट हो जाएगा तो Kali will enter into their heart नष्टबुद्धि हो जाएगा so like that and more than that afterwards Lord left behind a body is he Lord when I die I also leave behind a body he also left behind a body what kind of Lord is he even many great sages they enter into Jiva Samadhi while living in the enter into Samadhi their body is nowhere seen so what kind of God is he what kind of Lord is he people blame like that that's all their dharma nashto jayega Kali Yuga will start so with this intention Lord Krishna organized this entire events so that Kali Yuga will begin sudden jump from Satya Yuga to Kali Yuga that was the whole intention but all these things need to be narrated in the books so Vyasdev was given this vision Arjuna was given this vision so that Arjuna will tell to Yudhishthira Maharaj it will be known everywhere if it is known in Hastinapur it will be known all over the world because the main capital of the entire world so if it is known to Vyasdev it will be written in all the Puranas it will be known to everyone for the rest of eternity so they will be given that vision of fighting of Yadus among themselves actually something else happened so in that way so it is like that these are the various different reasons why it happened like that so thus Arjuna kind of related everything what had happened how had happened everything now Arjuna is pacifying himself he trying to pacify trying to come out of that lamentation state देशकालार्थयुक्तानि तुर्तापोपशमानि च हरन्ति स्मरतश्चित्तं गोविन्दाभिहितानि मे
Now I am attracted to those instructions imparted to me by the personality of God and Govinda.
little louder not clear
Now I am attracted to those instructions imparted to me by the personality of God and Govinda because they are impregnated with instructions for relieving the burning heart in all circumstances of time and space.
so here Arjuna is saying one important point Prabhuji can you kindly mute when I remember the words of Govinda which were suitable to time place circumstances desha kalartha yuktani place time and subject and which calmed the pain in my heart those words break my heart I can say nothing more do not ask me anything else when I remember those words of Govinda which were suitable to place which were suitable to time which were suitable to the subject context they break my heart so like that Arjuna is kind of remembering the dealings of Lord Krishna, all the things that Lord Krishna had said, At one go is remembering and is saying, if you ask me anything, if I start speaking about anything, my heart breaks. Please don't ask me anything more. So Prabhupada writes, here Arjuna refers to the instructions of the Bhagavad Gita, which was important to him by the Lord on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. The Lord left behind him the instructions of the Bhagavad Gita, not for the benefit of Arjuna alone, but also for all time and all the lands. Desha, Kala, Artha. For all places, for all the lands, for everyone, for all time to come. Bhagavad Gita is left behind for our benefit. So then Prabhupada writes, the Bhagavad Gita being spoken by the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the essence of all Vedic wisdom. It is nicely presented by the Lord himself for all who have very little time to go through the vast Vedic literatures like the Upanishads, Puranas and Vedanta Sutra. It is put within the study of the great historical epic Mahabharata, which was especially prepared for the less intelligent class, namely the women, the laborers and those who are worthless descendants of the Brahmanas, Kshatriyas and the higher sections of the Vaishyas. The problem which arose in the heart of Arjuna on the battlefield of Kurukshetra was solved by the teachings of Bhagavad Gita. Again, after the departure of the Lord from the vision of earthly people, when Arjuna was face to face with being vanquished in his acquired power and prominence, he wanted again to remember the great teachings of Bhagavad Gita, just to teach all concerned that the Bhagavad Gita can be consulted in all critical times, not only for solace from all kinds of material agonies, but also for the way out of great entanglement, which may embrace one in critical hour. Just like Arjuna was saved in the critical hour in the battlefield of Kurukshetra, any such criticality, all of us can be saved from taking shelter of Bhagavad Gita. So it's like that. That Arjuna says in the next verse very clearly. Suta Uvacha, not Arjuna, Suta Goswami is saying that. Evam Chintayato Jishnu Krishna Pada Saroruham Saugardena Digadena Santa Sid Vimalamati.
Mr. Goswami said, thus being deeply absorbed in thinking of the instructions of the Lord, which were imparted in the great intimacy of friendship, and in thinking of his lotus feet, Arjuna's mind became pacified and free from all material contamination.
Suta Goswami says, when Arjuna contemplated the lotus feet of Lord Krishna with deep affection, his intelligence regaining steadiness became calm. Evam, thus, having spoken thus, Chintayato Jishnu Krishna Pada Saroruham, having contemplated how in different ways Lord Krishna kind of helped the Pandavas become victorious, protected them all different calamities, and how Lord Krishna's wonderful dealings are there. Arjuna began to meditate on the lotus feet of Lord Krishna. Then how he did that? Sauhardena, within his heart completely. Atighadena, with complete concentration. Santasid Vimalamati, the mind became completely purified or pacified. He became peaceful, Shantasid. Though his intelligence was full of pain due to separation, by attaining an appearance of the Lord from his continuous contemplation of the Lord, he became pacified. Since his burning pain was extinguished, his intelligence became free of contamination or unsteadiness. So till now he was actually crying a lot, he was in pain, intense pain, out of separation from Lord Krishna. By remembering Lord Krishna through all these pastimes, Lord Krishna manifested in the core of the heart of Arjuna. Then he became pacified because he is experiencing now Krishna's presence in front of him, within himself. So he became pacified. So in the last 4 or 5 lines of the purport, Prabhupada gives very nice, interesting understanding. Last 4 lines from the purport. The Bhagavad Gita begins with the problems of life by discriminating the soul from the elements of matter, and proves by all reason and argument that the soul is indestructible in all circumstances and that the outer covering of matter, the body and the mind, change for another term of material existence which is full of miseries. Vasham Jirnani Yata Vihaya Navani Naroparani. Just like when we give up the old clothes and wear new clothes, when this body becomes useless, we give up that body and wear new body. So something like that. The Bhagavad Gita is therefore meant for terminating all different types of miseries, and Arjuna took shelter of this great knowledge which had been imparted to him during the Kurukshetra battle. Now remembering Bhagavad Gita, the teachings of Lord Krishna, Arjuna kind of became normal, kind of been pacified. That was the whole idea. Hare Krishna, devotees are able to follow online. Any questions till now?
No problem.
Yes, Prabhuji.
No, Prabhuji.
Okay. Okay, we'll go on. Vasudevangri Anudyana Paribramita Ramhasa Bhaktya Nirmati Tasesa Kashayad Dishanorjuna.
Arjuna's constant remembrance of the lotus feet of the Lord Sri Krishna rapidly increased his devotion, and as a result, all the trash in his thoughts subsided.
Here Sutta Goswami says that Arjuna had his intelligence completely freed of all contaminations by intense bhakti, which was completely filled with meditation on the feet of Lord Vasudeva. Vasudeva Angri Anudhyana. He was meditating on Lord's lotus feet. Paribrahmita Ramasa. The entire heart is filled with that meditation. Bhaktya Nirmati Ashesha Nirmatita Ashesha Kashaya Dishano Arjuna. So Arjuna's intelligence completely freed of all contaminations by intense bhakti, and he was completely pacified by the presence of Lord Krishna. But the word mala means things contaminations like lust. That is true. But because Arjuna is not just an associate of Lord, but the Avatara Nara, it is impossible for him to have such contamination. But perhaps we can say that he is being an Amsha of Indra can have contamination. That also cannot be. The verse explains. Arjuna had no contamination at all. Arjuna is a Nityasiddha Bhakta of Lord Krishna only, the eternal associate of Supreme Lord. How can Arjuna have some contamination? So the understanding is that he is freed from the lamentation, he is freed from the separation of Lord Krishna. Now by meditating on Lord Krishna, he was experiencing the union of Lord Krishna. That is understanding. Arjuna had intelligence completely free of all contaminations, such as lust from the very beginning, by bhakti which appeared from his very birth. So he had no contamination at all. From the very birth, he is a pure devotee. So materially speaking, he has no contamination, but the only thing is that right now he is not experiencing the presence of Krishna. But by meditation, he regained that association with Lord Krishna. Then he became composed and normal. So in that way. So now Sutta Goswami clearly says, with that peaceful condition, Arjuna began to remember Bhagavad Gita. Gitam Bhagavat Ajnanam Yatta Sangrama Murdani Kala Karma Tamoruddham Punar Adyagamat Prabhu.
Because of the Lord's past acts and activities, and because of his absence, it appeared that Arjuna forgot the instructions left by the personality of Godhead. But factually, this was not the case. And again, he became Lord of his senses.
So here, Sutta Goswami says that Gitam Bhagavata Jnanam Yattat Sangrama Murdani. Arjuna again understood the knowledge sung by the Lord in the battlefield of Kurukshetra, which was not forgotten by the influence of time. Kala karma tamo aruddham. Ruddham means forgetting. Aruddha means though 36 years had passed, Arjuna did not forget Bhagavad Gita. He still remembered the entire Bhagavad Gita, which was not forgotten by the influence of time, action, or darkness, neither by the influence of Kala, nor by the influence of Karma, nor by the influence of ignorance. He did not forget, caused by separation from the Lord. But now, because of separation from the Lord, he remembered the same Bhagavad Gita, he kind of pacified. So Sudha Goswami is saying like that. It is said that when a person is burning in separation from a beloved person, by remembering the words of the beloved, the flames of that pain are extinguished. Therefore, he began to recite the nectar of Gita, which emanated from the cooling moon-like mouth of the Lord. This relieved him of all pain. That knowledge of Gita was not forgotten by the influence of time, action, or ignorance. But in our case, we don't remember either by the influence of the time, by the influence of activities, by the influence of ignorance. So whatever we remember to tomorrow we will not remember. If today we are performing some activity, we are become familiar with that activity. But if you don't perform that activity over a period of month, you forget about it completely. When you again want to do something, you are confused what to do, when, how to do, etc., etc. Something like that. Tama here means the situation similar to darkness caused by separation from the Supreme Lord. But even that also did not diminish that knowledge of Bhagavad Gita from Arjuna. So in that way. Vishoko Brahma Sampatya Sanchinna Daiva Samshaya Leena Prakriti Nirgunyat Alingatvad Asambhava.
Because of his possessing spiritual asserts, the doubts of duality were completely cut off. Thus, he was freed from the three modes of material nature and placed in transcendence. There was no longer any chance of his becoming entangled of birth and death, for he was freed from material form.
So Prabhupada writes in the previous purport that therefore all of us should align all our life's activities in line with Bhagavad Gita. Thus, we can be saved from the onslaughts of material world. We can go back home back to Godhead. Here Arjuna, remembering Bhagavad Gita from the last 36 years, did not forget it. They are all very nice. Even now in the separation of Lord Krishna also, he did not forget it. That knowledge is still there. Arjuna had forgotten how to fight, how to invoke the mantras, how to conduct battle, etc. He was defeated by infidel cohort guys who did not even have weapons. But he had not forgotten the Gita. So like that, under all circumstances, we should not forget the teachings of the Supreme Lord. So if they are there with us, we can surely go back home back to Godhead. So like that. In the last three lines, Prabhupada writes that. So here Sutta Goswami is saying that by the wealth of friendship with Krishna, Arjuna destroyed his lamentation. Arjuna vanquished all doubts about separation from the Lord, since he was beyond the gunas by his nature, though difficult to pursue, and therefore he was without a subtle body. He had no birth in this material world. Arjuna vanquished all the doubts and the pain of separation from the Lord, because till now, falling at the feet of Vishnu, he was crying and saying that Lord is not there with me, not there with me. But when he started remembering Lord's lotus feet, when he started remembering Bhagavad Gita, Lord personally manifested in the heart of Arjuna. So that is removed. So in the purport, there is an elaborate understanding about what is what. In the Gita, it is said, being my devotee, offer your mind to me, offer articles to me in worship, offer respects to me. I promise that you will come to me without doubt, for you are most dear to me. Manmana bhav madbhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru, mam evesha satyam te pratijane priyosime. Here Lord Krishna clearly indicates what to do and how to do. In that words, Lord Krishna said that you will come to me without doubt. Oh Arjuna, at the right time in the future you will come to me. But out of affection, I today speak to you that the method when you will try to attain me because of great separation in the future. So by saying this verse, Arjuna is indicating that whenever you feel separation from me, remember the teachings of this verse, you will become united with me immediately. Some explanations are there in this purport and some Acharya's notes, etc. etc. So here it is said that by arrangements, by attainment of the wealth of Brahman, lamentation vanishes. So here in relation to Arjuna's case, Arjuna's lamentation can only be removed only when the Lord manifests in the heart. Otherwise it cannot be removed, not by kingdom. Arjuna says in the Bhagavad Gita also, Kim no Rajyena Govinda, Kim Bhogair Jivitena va, Esha Marto Kankshitam no, Yuddham Rajyam, etc. says that. So for now, Arjuna, the only one thing can pacify him is Krishna. That's what it says. Attaining the wealth of Brahman means wealth of Krishna. The lamentation vanishes. This is a statement of Sutta Goswami, according to his understanding. Actually, giving up the wealth of the material world, one becomes free of lamentation by attaining dear friendship with the Lord, our Lord Krishna, in his manifested and unmanifested pastimes. So, not only just attaining the wealth of Brahman, but also giving up the material wealth. Both should go hand in hand. So, I want both Brahman also, both material wealth also. It will not happen. One should give up material wealth, one should accept spiritual wealth. Then only the lamentation vanishes. Otherwise, you keep both in both the hands, lamentation will continue. One should completely cut the doubt of duality. One has the doubt. What is the doubt? Do I have a relationship with the body or not? We may have this doubt. Do I have any sambandha with my body or not? Arjuna's doubt is as follows. Actually, though there is a difference between Lord Krishna and me, the doubt is that previously, because of my mutual friendship, there was oneness between us. But now there is separation. Will Krishna again bring me to the oneness of happy friendship? Previously, Krishna and Arjuna were not seen as the two separate people. They were always seen as one person. They would travel together in one chariot. They would say one word. They are like together one person only. They are like one heart, one Atma, two bodies, something like that. But now Arjuna is not feeling like that. Now Krishna is nowhere. See next to him. He is feeling that now, are we really same? All these years I was thinking that we both are same. Whatever I say, Krishna says. Whatever I eat, Krishna also eats. We are both same only. Are we really same or are we separate? That doubt had come in the heart of Krishna, Arjuna. He is thinking that will again Krishna will come back to me and will become one person. That will be possible. The meaning is clear. However, actually there is no rebirth because he does not have a subtle body. Since he is beyond the gunas, being Lord Krishna's friend by his very nature, which is difficult to pursue. So Arjuna is thinking that okay, Krishna left the body, he died. If I die, will I be reunited with Krishna? Then Acharya says that no, my dear Arjuna, you don't have any subtle body to attain new body. You are eternally liberated Jiva. Lord Krishna is spiritual completely, like that you are also completely spiritual. There is no concept of birth and death for you and Krishna. Kindly understand. So like that Acharya is saying. Or there is another meaning. Arjuna as an Amsha of Indra was a Jivan Mukta who had a material body but gave it up. Thus he was without lamentation. He was free of lamentation and illusion arising from investigating the material world. This is because he was beyond the gunas. With the disappearance of the subtle body, he would not take birth again. So Acharya said that no, Arjuna, if you don't think yourself as Nara, one of the eternal associate of Lord Vishnu, Narayana, Narayana Rishi always staying in the Himalayas. Even though if you think that expansion of Indra, even Indra also a Jivan Mukta. Indra also does not have a settled body. He also does not have any rebirth. Don't think that you will have to take another birth so that you can reunite with Krishna. Apparently, from external point of view, Krishna is not there with you, but Krishna is always there with you in the internally. He cannot be separated from you. Like that, Acharyas are indicating. Yes, Matish.
Indra is, that means Indra is eternal.
Indra is Jivan Mukta. Indra is a devotee of the Supreme Lord. After his tenure is over, he will go back to Godhead. He will enter into Vaikuntha. So let's learn that. You increase. That is there with you only. Here only. Can you come and increase? Or you can turn off otherwise if it is not in the remote is not working. Yeah, I also feeling cold. Working? There is some problem with it. Come here. There is MCB inside. Turn off. Open the door. There is MCB inside. MCB. Turn off. MCB. Okay, devotees online able to follow the concept?
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay, thank you. Nishamya
Prabhuji, one
Bhagavan
query.
Markam Samstam Yadukulasya Cha Swapatya Matim Chakre Nibrutatma Yudhishthira.
Upon hearing of Lord Krishna's returning to his abode and upon understanding the end of the Yadu dynasty's earthly manifestation, Maharaj Yudhishthira decided to go back home, back to Godhead.
Yeah, now all with respect to Arjuna is completed. Now Sutta Goswami shifting camera to Yudhishthira Maharaj. So Yudhishthira, what Yudhishthira Maharaj is going to do now? Hearing the arrangements of the Lord and the proper situation of the Yadu family without others knowing, Yudhishthira Maharaj fixed his mind on attaining Lord Krishna's abode. Though Arjuna spoke about the war between the among Yadus, they killed each other. But Yudhishthira understood that the Supreme Lord dispatched all his intimate associates back to spiritual world. He is indicating that now our time is over. Let us also go back to Godhead. So Yudhishthira Maharaj understood and he made his mind, okay, enough is enough. Let me go back to Godhead. Marga means the way, the skillful arrangement. According to the proper conclusions being presented, they had a proper situation with the Lord's manifested and unmanifested pastimes in a spiritual condition. There was, however, a destruction of the external conditions. Swa refers to Lord Krishna's spiritual abode. So, externally there seems to be that the Yadus destroyed among themselves. Eventually we see that all the Pandavas will also leave behind their bodies one after the other. Draupadi, Nakula, Sahadeva, Arjuna, Bhima, they fell down one after the other. Yudhishthira Maharaj going to Swargandal. This is all for the external vision, for the people of this world. But they themselves, in their self-same body, will go back to Godhead. That is only understood by only few intimate conventional devotees, not for everyone. So that is understanding. Nava idam Rajarshi Varya Chitram Bhavastu Krishnam Samanu Vrateshu Ye Adyasanam Raja Kirita Justam Sadyo Jahur Bhagavat Parshvakama. Oh, best of the kings. Later on, this verse is spoken in the 19th chapter at the end of the first canto. Oh, best of the kings. The sages are addressing Parikshit Maharaj. It is not surprising that those desiring to associate with the Lord, born in the Pandava family and devoted solely to Lord Krishna, immediately gave up the royal throne, served by king's crowns. So Yudhishthira Maharaj is the monarch of the entire earth. He could have continued as a king. What is the problem if Krishna is not there? What's the problem? He can continue ruling. But not like that. Pandavas are so special devotees. For any given opportunity, they want to be in the association of Supreme Lord. They want to serve the Lord. Till now, even from the very beginning only, he does not want to become the king. We have seen the previous chapters. It is only by the request of Lord Krishna he became the king. Now Krishna is not there. Why you would want to continue as the king next? So he immediately made his mind to go back to Godhead. Though only Yudhishthira is mentioned, the same applies to all the Pandavas. This verse might be talking about Yudhishthira, but all the 5 Pandavas also thinking the same thing in the same way. All 5 brothers made up their minds to attain Lord Krishna's abode. Mukunda Manaso Dvija. Nibrutatma means that their thinking was not revealed to others. Only they understood what should be their next course of action. They were not told anybody in Hastinapur. They did not tell that, okay, Lord Krishna departed, we are also going by. Not like that. Without telling anyone, they just departed. So it's like that. No. Within the family member, they know. The Indra means they did not announce that we are going to Himalayas, not like that. Of course, that is expected. Any king family, after coronating their next generation, they will go to Vanaprasthashram. So they are, from the external point of view, they are going to Vanaprasthashram. But for them, they are going back to Godhead. So it's like that. That they did not reveal everyone.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, I wanted to ask if when Lord Krishna had instructed Yudhishthira Maharaj to rule, so was it not important to follow the instructions of the Lord rather than following Lord Krishna, deciding to leave this world?
And no, Lord told, I will be there, don't worry, you rule. So now Lord is not there, why would they rule? And second thing, Narada Muni also told in the previous chapter. So my dear, continue as a king as long as you come to know the next plan of action from the Lord. So something like that. So they were ruling because only as a service to Lord Krishna for the pleasure of Lord Krishna. So now they have understood Lord is not there. So they do not want to continue anymore. So it is like that.
Okay, Prabhuji.
Krutapi anushrutya dhananjayoditam nasam yadonam bhagavad gatinchatam ekanta bhaktya bhagavati adokshaje niveshitatmo pararama samsrute.
Indeed, after overhearing Arjuna's telling of the end of the Yadu dynasty and disappearance of Lord Krishna, engaged in the devotional service of the transcendental personality of Godhead with full attention and thus gained release from the course of material existence.
Hearing from Arjuna about the disappearance of the Yadus and the Lord's attaining his abode, Kunti became absorbed in the Lord with pure devotion and disappeared from the pastimes in the world. This describes her method of disappearing. Samsrite means from moving clearly from her appearance for pastimes in this world. She suddenly disappear, or the moment she heard the news, she showed a condition of an aged person, inactive state, because of the separation from the Lord. Just like Devaki, Vasudeva, all the elderly members of the Dwaraka, they heard from Dwaruka that Lord, all the Yadus killed among them, they disappeared, and Krishna and Balaram also disappeared. Immediately they fell unconscious and dead. Similarly, Kunti Maharani also fell unconscious and dead. As soon as she heard that Lord Krishna disappeared, and everyone in Dwaraka also disappeared. This is their bhakti for the Supreme Lord. So in that way we have to see. Yaya harad bhuvo baram tam anum vijahau aja kantakam kantake neva dvayam chapishtu shinmamam.
The Supreme Unborn Lord Sri Krishna caused the members of the Yadu dynasty to relinquish their bodies, and thus he revealed the burden of the world. This action was like picking out a thorn from a thorn, though both are the same to the controller.
Yeah. Regarding both burdens equally, the Lord separated himself from that position, from that portion of the Yadus, by which he removed the burden of the earth, like removing a thorn with another thorn. So it was Lord Krishna's desire to remove all the envious kings on the surface of the earth, and at the same time he wanted to remove the burden of the Yadus, who are not bad, but still allowing the Yadus to remain on the surface of the earth may not be good. So he wanted to remove them. That also he orchestrated. So like that. Here the esoteric conclusion is presented to pacify Shaunaka and the sages who were in grief on hearing about the final condition of the Yadus. The devotees who are hearing Bhagavatam, Sutta Goswami is speaking to the Shaunaka Rishis, when they heard that the Yadus, the associates of the Supreme Lord, they are kind of fighting with each other, killing each other, the sages felt very bad, very sorry. How can it be happening like that? So then Sutta Goswami is saying that, my dear sages, don't worry, don't worry. Just like Lord Krishna saw all the Asuric kings as a burden, he also saw Yadus also a burden on the earth. Just like he removed them through the medium of Kurukshetra battle, Lord Krishna also removed the Yadus as a through the medium of battle in Prabhas. So like that. By that body consisting of the Yadus in the form of the Devatas, he removed the burden of the earth, which arises from the Lord, like removing a thorn with the tip of another thorn, and then gave up that body. It is like saying Devadatta gave up his cloth. So it is like that. It is Lord Krishna requested the Devatas to come down, take birth among the Yadus. The Devatas appeared as Yadus, and with the help of them, Lord Krishna removed all the evil kings on the surface of the earth. Now Seva is over. Now the Yadus have to be, the Devatas have to be sent back to Sargaloka. So we have a thorn in the feet. We take another thorn, remove that thorn which is there in the feet, and will we keep the thorn with which we remove that thorn in the feet with us always? We carry that? No. We'll throw this also in the forest. We throw that also which is there in the feet, and this also, though no, we'll give them up. So like that, Lord Krishna used all the Yadus and Pandavas, in one sense, to remove the thorns on the world, all the envious kings. And now he has to discard this thorn also. He removed this thorn to the medium of the battle and the Prabhas. So like that. He let that body fall away from his presence. The verse does not say that he gave up that body of the Yadavas by which he performs eternal pastimes. In fact, just the way he created the illusion of the Yadus fighting among themselves, Lord Krishna also left behind a body. Yes, Lord Krishna also took part in the battles from the very beginning with that body in which he is living. He left behind that body also. That is like the thorn with which the thorn which is pricked in the feet has been removed. So in that way, the Yadus died apparently. Lord Krishna also died apparently. This is all a Leela, a pastime, something like that. In reality, the Devatas went back to Swarga and Lord Krishna went back to his own abode. So like that. The meaning is this. The Devatas at the time of appearing with the Lord in their Amsha forms entered into the eternal forms belonging to the Yadavas. When Lord Krishna came, some of his eternal associates also came along with him. But Lord Vishnu also instructed the Devatas to be part of the Yadus. So some of the Devatas entered into some of the Lord Krishna's the associates. Like who is that? Pradyumna, who is son of Lord Krishna. He is one among the Chaturvya expansion, Vasudeva, Sankarsana, Pradyumna, Ruddha. But Kandarpa, the Cupid, entered into Pradyumna. He is there along with Pradyumna. Samba, who is the son of Jambavati. Kartikeya came down and entered into Samba. So like that, many devatas entered into the forms of Nitya Lord Krishna. So in that way. Separating from those eternal forms by the power of yoga, when they went to Prabhas, they were made to attain Swarga with the forms of devatas after drinking the liquor by the Lord, who showed to the world that they had given up the bodies by the power of Maya. So it's like that. So Lord Krishna took those Nisida associates to spiritual world along with him, but the devatas were dropped in the heaven in between. And the body in with which they performed all the activities here are left behind to start Kali Yuga. So it's like that. This is according to the explanation given in Canto 11. The Yadavas who were eternal associates of the Lord disappeared from the sight of the world, but remained in the pastimes with Lord Krishna in the same Dwaraka as before. This is understood from Bhagavatamrita's conclusions. So, when Lord comes from the spiritual to material world, he brings his own abode here. There is Goloka in the spiritual world, Goloka also manifests here. There is Dwaraka in the spiritual world, Dwaraka also manifests here. So in Dwaraka, Lord Krishna performed pastimes for 100 years. After that, Dwaraka is inundated into the water from our vision. But Dwaraka is still there. In that Dwaraka, Lord Krishna is still performing pastimes in Aprakata form. All the Idus are also there in Dwaraka, performing pastimes with Lord Krishna in Aprakata form. So that is indicated here. We may not see that, but the pastimes are eternally going on. Even in Vrindavan also, pastimes of Lord Krishna are going on. Because this abode is not different from that abode. We may not see all those pastimes, but in Aprakata way, in an unimaginable way, all these pastimes are going on. Only pure devotees, in their pure meditation, they will see those pastimes happening. In that way. When Rupa Goswami, Sananda Goswami are Vrindavan, when they go into meditation, they remember, they see all the pastimes happening around. Even we hear about this pastime, no? What is the pastime? What is his name? Srinivasacharya, Narottam Das Tagore, Shyamananda Pandit. What was his name? Dukhi Krishnadas. Yeah, in that area where the Rasila pastimes happened, he was grooming that entire area. He got an anklet of Srimati Radharani. He was searching who this anklet belongs to, like that. When he was searching, one lady came and took him into the Aprakata Leela. There only. Nidhivan, it is called Nidhivan. And then his form transformed. He became female. And he was taken to Srimati Radharani. He presented the anklet to Radharani. Radharani with that ring, we kind of put a tilak on the head and changed his name. He became known as Shyamananda Das. Then again, Lalita Saki brought him to the same place. As soon as he came out of Aprakata to normal material worldly view, he became normal as Shyamananda. So it's like that. For pure devotee, the Aprakata level becomes Prakata. They are still going on there. No worries.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Then we
Hare
can.
Krishna.
But Prabhuji, that sign was mark was there now on his head when he returned. Still mark
Yes,
was there.
the tilak mark was there. Later on, those disciples of Shyamananda Pandit who are following in his succession, they all putting the same tilak mark, black tilak mark.
Yes. Yes.
It is there.
Yes. So you used the word what? Aprakat Leela. He went
Aprak
into
Leela.
Aprakat. Okay. Okay.
Invisible
Okay.
to our mundane eyes.
Yes, Prabhuji. I got it. Thank
There's
you.
the two burdens. The burden to the earth in the form of the demons and the burden to the earth in the form of the devatas who entered the forms of Yadavas were regarded as the same by the Lord. However, in the example, though two thorns are equal, the tip of the thorn at the instrument is internal portion under Lord's influence, acting as assistant to the Lord's pastime. The other Tan, the object of action, though also acting as an assistant to the Lord's pastime, is the external portion under the influence of Maya. Here the demons are like the thorn which is pricked in the feet. The Devatas are the other second thorn which is used to remove that prick. After removing the prick, both are thrown into the forest at a distant place where people don't walk so that the others will not get trouble. So something like that. So that's how Lord Krishna removed the Asuras and also the Devatas from the surface of the earth. So by telling this, Suta Goswami kind of pacified the sages of Naimisharanya, revealing the internal truth. Yatamasyaadi Rupani Datte Jayadyata Nata Bahuba Bhubara Kshapito Ena Jahauta Cha Kalevaram.
The Supreme Lord relinquished the body which he manifested to diminish the burden of the earth. Just like a magician, by relinquishes one body to accept different ones, like the fish incarnation and others.
Just as the Lord maintains forms such as Matsya and gives them up, and just as a magician makes a show of giving up his body, the Lord makes a show of giving up his body, by which he relieved the burden of earth. Just like for a purpose of for a particular Leela, Lord appears in a form, he performs the Leela, and he gives up the form and leaves that place. Lord appeared as Matsya, protected Satyavata and left. Lord appeared as Varaha, lifted the Bhumandala and left. Lord appeared as Varaha, killed Hiranyaksha and left. Lord appeared as Narsimha, killed Hiranyakashipu and left. Like that, now Lord appeared as Krishna and left. So, like that, Suta Goswami is saying. Like a magician, Lord Krishna displayed a false show of giving up his own body. So, whatever fight that took place between the Yadus, whatever body that Lord Krishna left behind, that is all a magician trick. In reality, that did not happen. So, in that way. The Lord maintains various forms and gives them up. He does not assume forms and then give them up. Even when he gives up these forms, he still has these forms. That is the meaning. How can one understand this? So it is not that all of us currently entered into a human body. We give up this body, next time we enter into some Devata body, we give up that body, next time enter into some other body. Not like that. Lord Krishna appearing as Matsya, Kurma, Varaha, not like that. These forms are always there eternally. So when the right time comes, he comes in that form and performs pastime and goes back. So how to understand that? Just as a magician gives up his body by cutting it. In the magic, he cuts up his body into multiple parts, burning it and losing consciousness, and shows this all to all people and makes them believe it, and still maintains his body and does not die. The Lord maintains his forms such as Matsya, and while maintaining gives them up also. Just as the magician still has his body and giving up the body is illusion. So Lord has real forms such as a Matsya, and giving them up is illusion. So it's like that. Apparently, from our point of view, Lord Krishna left behind a body, but it is not that. Lord Krishna went back in the self-same body to the spiritual world, or he entered into Aprakata Vrindavan, Aprakata Dwaraka. So the leaving behind a body is like the magician's play. That is only bewildered to the people of this world who do not have complete faith in the Supreme Lord. That is to start Kali Yuga. Pure devotees never believe in this. They never accept that Yadus fought among themselves and killed themselves. Lord Krishna left behind a body and Lord Krishna was killed by the arrow thrown by Jara. Pure devotees will never believe that. So, this is all for the people of the material world who are supposed to start Kali Yuga in that way. And just as the Lord maintains various forms and produces the illusion of giving them up, in giving up the body by which he removed the burden of the earth, Lord Krishna did not give up his body. Giving up the body is only an illusion. The body with which Lord Krishna performed all the pastimes in Gokul, Mahavan, Vrindavan, Nandagaon, Madura, Dwaraka, Hastinapur, Kurukshetra, etc., At the end, even in Prabhas, apparently seems to be Lord Krishna left behind that body. It is not like that. He only created an imitation body and left behind that. But in the self same form, he went back to his own abode. So that is the understanding. The Lord does not take a form of a human like an actor, though he is Brahman in human form, since his body is not material. Lord Krishna is Parabrahman and his form is Narakruti. He is like that of the human form. Just because, just because he appears to be like a human being, so we cannot say that, okay, like all of us accepted a human form, Krishna also accepted a human form. Not like that. His eternal form is like that only. With the eternal form, he came down. He did not accept any material form just to perform some activities here. In Mahabharata, it is said that Na Bhuta Sango Samsthano Dehostya Paramatmana. The body of the Lord is not associated with the material elements. Na Bhuta Sango. Vishnu Purana further says that he who thinks that the Lord Krishna's body is material should be excluded from all actions of Shruti and Smruti. If one sees him, one should bathe with one's clothes on. When we take bath with the clothes on, yes, after funeral ceremony, we are recommended to take bath with the clothes on. Similarly, if one sees that Lord Krishna's body is material, one hears or one sees somebody is talking about it, then the person should bathe with the clothes on. It is as good as seeing a dead person. Seeing a person who says Lord Krishna's body is material, seeing a person Lord Krishna dead, or hearing from them, we should treat it as we have just met a dead body. So we should come and take bath with clothes on. This is a recommendation from Vishnu Purana. So it's like that. In Vaishampayana Shastra Nama Sotra, like Vishnu Sahasra Nama Sutra, basically, the Lord is called as Amrutamsho Amruta Vapur. He has a body which is immortal. Amruta Amsho. His body is an expansion of Amruta. And Amruta Vapur. His bodily limbs are immortal. So how can he has a human body, a material body? In his commentary, Shankaracharya also says that Amrutam Marana Rahitam Vapur. Lord Krishna's body is Amruta. And it is Marana Rahita, without death. So in that way. There is another meaning of Jayhat. Jayhat means he gives up. The Lord bestows forms like Narayana, who had entered his body when he appeared on the earth to the devotees situated in Vaikuntha and other spiritual abodes for nourishing them. This is explained in the end of the 11th canto. So it is said that when Lord Krishna made his appearance, Kshirodaksha Vishnu is responsible for the maintenance of the entire universe, entered into Krishna. Manvantara Avatara entered into Krishna. Yuga Avatara entered into Krishna. All these avataras, Narayana and Rishis, Narayana entered into Krishna, Narayana entered into Arjuna. We discussed last time that Sahasra Kavacha, there is a pastime remaining, one Kavacha is still there. So they all entered, they all performed their pastime, their own activities nicely. So when Krishna's tenure is over, when he's going back, they are all departing from Krishna. So Manvantara Avatara went to Vaikuntha abode Vichita Abode Satyaloka. Kshirodaksha Vishnu went to Shvetadvipa. And Yugatara went to wherever he's supposed to go. So like the different avatars departed from him and disappeared from him and went to different places. And Krishna went to his own abode. So that means he has given up a body means, okay, till now Vaikuntha, the Lord of Vaikuntha is staying in his body. He told him to go, please go. Now enough. Time is over. So like that. The Narayana Rishis, now time is over, please go. Something like that. So that's how he is kind of seeing off one after the other, one after the other. In that way.
So they come with the Lord to assist him or to release his passion?
They come in the body of the Lord to perform their respective activities. Relishing pastimes is the sole property of Krishna. They come to do their activities. all the killing pastimes are not by Krishna. Killing pastimes are all by Vishnu forms who are within Krishna. Reducing the burden of the earth is not the responsibility of Krishna, it is the responsibility of Manvantara Avatara or Kshirodakshaya Vishnu. They have done all the pastimes of fighting battles and all. And the one, Krishna himself is only interested in pastimes in relation to his devotees. Like Narayana, they are kind of overseeing the battle of Kurukshetra. Nara is Arjuna, Narayana is there, Krishna, driving the chariot and throwing the arrows. So fighting with Karna, Bhishma, etc. etc. And the example what we can take, Yugavatara. It was Dwapara Yuga. The Yugavatara came and established the process of deity worship. Lord Krishna speaks about deity worship in Uddhav Gita. Lord Krishna throughout his tenure he also worshipped deities elaborately. So like that they are doing their activity. So it's like that. Everyone is doing their own activities, their respective activities.
All this you have mentioned in your book.
Ah.
Same can be said for other permission like Ram.
You can say, but there is no such a description about Lord Ram and all. They are all expansions and they are all Lila avatars. Krishna is avatari. Since he is avatar, is source of everyone. When he comes, everyone enters in him. Because everything came from him. That means they are also within him. So when he is there, everyone will be there. So in that way. So when it comes to Lord Ram, we don't know. We need to read Ramayana very carefully whether everyone is there within him. Because from the Ramayana, apparently he talks about Lord Ram as a normal human being only. His Daivatva is not so much glorified in the Ramayana. Once in a while talks about it. But the Bhagavatam from the beginning to the end, it talks about Daivatva of Krishna only. Bhagavatam nowhere it mentions that Krishna is a normal mortal. But Ramayana from the beginning to the end, it treats Lord Rama as normal mortal only. There you may not be able to get that so much. That is meant for some people, this is meant for some people. That is meant for people who want to lead a proper life in this world. Maryada Purushottamna. Maryada se Jineka. And this is meant for, this is spoken to Parashit Maharaj, who is about to die. And this is meant for us to get prepared for death. Bhagavatam is meant for us to get prepared for death. Huh? How to live, yes.
How to live.
What kind of ideals we should cultivate in our life, that is Ramayana. When difficulties come, how to overcome the difficulties, Mahabharata. So like that. Every scripture has a particular mode, particular purpose. So in that.
Sri Vaishnava also is that Sri Narayan is the source of everything.
Obviously, that is their rasa, that is their philosophy. Narayana, Lord Vishnu is the source of everything. And we say Gaudiya Vaishnava say Lord Krishna is the source of everything. And some other parampara they say something else. The Shaivites will say Lord Shiva is the source of everything. And here our neighbors, they say void is the source of everything. So like the different people have their own way of telling. It's okay. Let them say.
But what is the authentic and real?
Why authentic? It's not nothing to do with authentic. Whom you want to serve? You want to serve Lord Ram, Lord Krishna, Lord Vishnu, Lord Narayana, Lord Vamana, Lord Kurma? Tattva does not matter. Rasa is important. Whom you want to serve and how you want to serve. That is important. Whomsoever you want to serve, hear about him more. Hear about the devotees of that person more and more so that you will get to know how to serve. That's all. You don't have to meddle with who is superior, who is supreme, who is inferior. That is all simply time pass. Life is meant to get ready to go back home, back to Godhead. And where to go, we have to decide. If you want to go there, you need to prepare for that. For example, if some of your children want to become doctors, so they have to study accordingly only. They cannot study something else and become doctors. That is not possible. Same way. Those who want to go to Vaikuntha, they need to worship Vishnu. They need to hear about Vishnu. They need to hear about Vishnu Bhaktas. Those who want to serve Krishna, want to go to Golak Vrindavan, they need to hear about Krishna, Krishna's devotees, Brajavasis. Then only they will develop a desire to go there. And we heard in the beginning, in the class, the queens were hearing about gopis. They wanted to serve Krishna like the gopis. That is what they attend eventually. For details, you can read the book. So it's like that.
Vaikuntha and Mahavaikunth is different from Mahavaikunth.
In one sense, the concept in Vaikuntha in Sri Vaishnavas is like that. There are unlimited Vaikunthas. So all are unlimited Vaikunthas, all are there. But among them, the original Maha Vaikuntha, just like we say Golokundan is the source of everything, they say Narayana is the source of everything. That Narayana is called as Maha Narayana. The abode of that Narayana is Maha Vaikuntha. So from their point of view, the original Narayana is the source of other Narayanas, other Vishnus. So he is Maha Narayana, his abode is Maha Vaikuntha. So in that way. Or Maha Vaikuntha is the abode of Mahavishnu. And Mahanarayana is Mahavishnu. So they also say like that. Karmadaka Vishnu. They worship him as Mahavishnu, Mahanarayana. Srirangam Ranganath Swami is Mahavishnu. Yes, he is Mahavishnu. He came down here. He does not. You don't want him to come down here also. Entry nahi kya unka?
The Adikeshwar Mandir is called as Mahavishnu.
That is Garbhodaksha Vishnu. It's okay, na? Mahavishnu can be there multiple places. Why not? He appeared here for accepting the devotional service of Ikshvaku Vamsha. You can come. What is the problem? And Tirupati Balaji, the Manvantara Avatara, who is there in the Vaikuntha above Satyaloka, came down all the way here to accept your worship. So let's like that. So, what's up? Time up already. Should we discuss or we stop? Okay, I think we'll discuss next week. Any questions online, devotees? Here, devotees are asking so many questions. I don't know whether you are following or not.
Yeah, Prabhuji, we are following very
We
well.
are following.
Thank you.
Please give the question bank for this chapter now only. Because this chapter is elaborate, no?
Hare Krishna, no problem, no problem.
That verses we have to by heart, no? Which are the
No
verses you please?
No problem, no problem, no problem. Thank you very much. If any other devotees have any question?
No,
No,
Prabhuji,
Prabhuji.
it is a very
Very
emotional
good.
chapter.
Thank you.
No,
Thank
Prabhuji,
you.
Yeah,
well
very-
explained.
Very
Okay,
emotional
okay.
chapter, Prabhuji. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Dandavad.
Hare Krishna, thank you very
Nice
much.
presentation. Thank you, Prabhuji.